came to lose it all. Lights are flashing, drinks are spilling, feet on you. Yo, it's time to get wild, time to get loud. We're turning up the heat, we're rocking the crowd. Shake those hips, let the rhythm take control. We came to party, we came to lose it all. Lights are flashing, drinks are spilling, feet are moving, the vibe's so chillin'. Can you feel it? Can you feel the fire? We're here to party, take it higher. The sun goes down, the lights come on. Music's pumping, feel the song. Raise your hands up, move your feet. Tonight we own these city streets. Bass is thumping, body swaying. No time for hesitating. Lose yourself, just feel the beat. Let the rhythm set you free. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Dancing till the break of day. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Party like we just got paid. Shake it, take it, feel the heat. Lose control, move to the beat. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Tonight we celebrate. Flashing lights and neon dreams, sipping cocktails by the sea. Drums are calling, hearts ignite. This party's going all damn night. Bass is thumping, body swaying. No time for hesitating. Lose yourself, just feel the beat. Let the rhythm set you free. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Dancing till the break of day. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Party like we just got paid. Shake it, take it, feel the heat. Lose control, move to the beat. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Tonight we celebrate. Feel the pulse, the night is young. The music's high, we've just begun. Hearts are racing, full of fire. Let the rhythm take you higher. Here we go, feel the sound. Vibe is rising all around. Get ready, let's go. We're about to lose control. Fiesta, fiesta, dancing till the break of day. Fiesta, fiesta, party like we just got paid. Shake it, take it, feel the heat. Lose control, move to the beat. Fiesta, fiesta, ole. Tonight we celebrate. Oh. Fiesta, fiesta, dancing till the break of day. Fiesta, fiesta, party like we just got paid. Shake it, take it, feel the heat. Lose control, move to the beat. Fiesta, fiesta, tonight we celebrate.
We in for a good one tonight, boys. We in for a good one. actually, I don't think Notre Dame's on there. Here are all the teams I have. I just picked, I don't know, a bunch of power teams. Notre Dame's not in a conference, and I have them sorted by conference. That's why they're not in here. We can fix it. All right. Well, what is going on, everyone? We got a special treat tonight. Real special treat. We got Carolina Jackpot in the back room, but before I bring him on, I know there's some people in my audience that are not super familiar with Carolina Jackpot, and if I could describe him as simply as possible, he's the most entertaining person that I know of on YouTube. I'm not just saying that because he's in the back room. There are, in my opinion, like 4 OGs in college football YouTube. 4 original gangsters. You've got BVD, Law Tide, Uncle Lou, and then the GOAT, Carolina Jackpot. Now, I'm muted for him. We'll bring him on momentarily. I've got a clip for you guys. If you haven't seen a Carolina Jackpot live stream, like when he's live streaming a game, you're missing out. Of everyone on YouTube, if I was streaming and they put in the chat, hey, I got to go watch another stream and it's Jackpots, he's the only one I'd be okay with. I'd say, I get it. I can't hold a candle to the guy. So this year against Missouri, he had some idiot call him during the stream. Now, I'll ask him when he comes on. I'm not sure how people got his number, but it totally screwed up his stream. Also, if you're a regular viewer of mine, this is WreckTalk After Dark. There's going to be a lot of profanity, okay? If you don't like that, you can moderate it yourself and click off the video because there's probably 28 F-bombs in this clip here. But just to set the stage, someone calls him, it screws his stream up. They score, South Carolina scores, he's Carolina Jackpot, he's a massive South Carolina fan. And then he calls the guy back to give him the what for. So let's take a look at this.
Oh my God, what happened? I fucking missed it! I missed it because this fucking idiot hero fucking, oh my God. I'm gonna get this fucker. Carolina. Hey, why did you do that? Why did you call my fucking phone right before that? You fucked the stream up and I missed that fucking touchdown, you idiot. Come on. No, you're a fucking idiot. Who are you, you fucking pineapple head shit? No, it's not fucking funny. If I could fucking find you, I'd beat you in the face with a Dr. Pepper can. Yeah, I'm real serious. Dr. Pepper Zero. You are a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You are, I don't care. You're a fucking dipshit. I missed the fucking touchdown for the stream on my fucking live stream. You're a fucking idiot. You are a fucking clown. You're a fucking dolt.
Adult.
Who are you? Why did you do that?
I'm a Florida fan.
Oh my God, you fucking idiot! And you beat LSU today! Well, you can go fucking jump off the ramp!
And you know what? Because you're coming on WreckTalk, I ain't Rob Sanders. We're professional over here, baby. We got a kick-ass intro for you. Let's hit it.
Carolina Jackpot, Carolina Jackpot, Carolina Jackpot. You hit you with the head with the doctor that mouse in. Why did you go back, you dog? You pineapple active shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, here he is, Carolina Jackpot, the one, the only, the OG here. How are you doing, sir?
Man, I am better than I deserve. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I've got to do cool things on YouTube. I interviewed more than one player for Georgia Tech. This is the thing that I've been the most excited about in my entire career. You've never been on the show. I'm thrilled to have you on, especially to talk some shit about some fan bases. I know you got some strong feelings.
I do. I think the only collaboration that you and I have ever done was when we picked games with Uncle Lou one time or something.
That and you know what? That's when I knew maybe I had gone too far with the Florida State fan base, because on that morning show you said, man, Rec is really, really on one, man. He's really going after it. I'm like, well, if Jackpot says I'm on one, then I'm doing something right. So I did want to ask you, how long have you been on YouTube? Have you started with the scratch off things, I think, right? 15 years ago or something like that?
Yeah. 2013 was when I started doing the scratch off videos. And I did it for a while. And then I'm like, I really need to quit doing these scratch offs because I'm going to go broke.
Yeah.
So I quit and I deleted my channel. And then 2 weeks later, it's 2014, and I'm like, I want to make videos again. So that's when I started my channel up. This incarnation of the channel. And then actually it was under a different account or something. That's why if you actually go to view videos and you can do this with anybody. go and look at my oldest video ever. It was actually recorded back in 2011. It was my son playing with the phone when he's like 9 years old. He's just like 23 now. But I changed the name of the channel. It was his name. The channel's name was Kale Hall. That was my channel name.
Yeah.
My name. Up until sometime in 2016. And then I just like, what can I call this? What can I call it? And it just popped into my head, Carolina Jackpot. And I'm like, okay. And there's actually a video on here somewhere rebranding the channel as Carolina Jackpot from back in 2016. So
You hit an Elon Musk. You hit a rebrand. You went Twitter to X.
I did.
Yeah.
And I still continued with doing those scratch tickets, but I started delving into some football stuff on here probably about 2017. And then by the end of, I'd say 2018, I had just gotten tired of doing the scratch tickets, of the scratch ticket community. There were some, we were going in on books of tickets and doing group buy-ins, and I would live stream. I'd scratch them off on live stream, and I started dealing with some kind of shady people and some people that I just didn't care for. I had a guy that got all mad because I gave his ticket number away to somebody else. So he didn't get ticket number 21 in that book. He had to be ticket number 22. And just this type of bullshit. I'm like, screw this. I'm going to just concentrate on football.
This sounds like the blackjack table where you do something not by the book. That was the dealer's bus card or whatever. People get mad when money's involved. That's what I've learned. They get real mad.
They do, and everybody's got their little superstitions. There's no difference in ticket number 21 versus ticket number 22 until you scratch it.
Yeah. Now, we did get to scratch some tickets at the casino, and I learned something from you. Like, if they give you a ticket you didn't ask for, you keep the ticket, right?
Yeah. I actually won $100 on some turquoise ticket we had here a good many years ago at the Sphinx gas station in Greer, which is near my house here. She pulled that out instead of what I wanted. And I'm like, I'll just keep it. And damn if I didn't win $100 on it. So
nice.
Yeah, you always keep it when they screw up and give you the wrong one. And now those scratch tickets in that casino were, the latex on them was just like super duper tough. And the little dude at the casino scratch ticket counter was like, normally if you win on a ticket, they scan the barcode, boom, you won $20, rip it in half, throw it in the trash can, and give you $20. This man sits here, takes like a half a razor blade out,
yeah,
removes all the latex from the entire ticket carefully, identifies the matching numbers that you won on, which one of them was, it had 4 matches for $5 each. I won $20. He had to circle each one with a ballpoint pen. Whoops, no, that ballpoint pen's not good enough. Let me get a black one, not a blue one. Has to go back over it again. Has to sign his name on the back of it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, give me my $20, man.
There was so much pageantry around just cashing in your ticket. I didn't understand.
It was absolutely overkill.
Well, let's be honest. That whole casino was shady as shit. The whole place, to me, I didn't really trust, but I still played. So anyways, let me switch screens here. We'll go over, I'm going to read off the teams we have. Now, if we go over a team that you just don't care about, we'll just skip over them and we'll put them, I guess, in neutral. But I have tiers. So, Jackpot, I don't know if you've ever done one of these tier lists. This is something the young people like to do these days. But basically, this top tier would be the fan base you like most. The green one at the bottom would be the one you like least. And I've tried to name the tiers after things themed after Carolina Jackpot. So the top tier is the Steve Spurrier tier. What is the pinnacle of Carolina football? Would it be Steve Spurrier? Like like at Tech, it's like Bobby Dodd, right? Things like this. What is it for Carolina?
It would have to be that, or the either be that or the George Rogers tier, or the Sterling Sharp tier, some famous player. But yeah, in terms of coaches, yeah, it'd have to be good old Steve-O.
All right. Then under that, we got never had a problem. Fan bases you never really had a problem with. Then in the neutral tier, never seen one. I mean, there's some fan bases on here. I don't think I've ever interacted with a fan of their fan base before. Then getting into the doo-doo tier, we've got absolute dolt. Now, I'm not familiar with this term. I learn things every time I listen to one of Jackpot's streams. Can you enlighten me on what a dolt is? This seems like a more archaic word.
I believe it's another insulting word to mean idiot, moron. There's a guy named Walt Deptula who is a radio show host from 3 to 7 every day here in the upstate on the Clemson flagship station that does a drive time sports talk call-in show called Road Rage, and he referred to somebody as a dolt there at one point in time, and it may have been me when I called. No, it wasn't me. Yeah, I picked that one up. That's where I heard that.
That's what I really like about when you get mad, and you can tell it's not act, because in that clip I played, you're literally running out of breath talking shit to this guy. But when the madder you get, the more specific you get, which I like. Dr. Pepper, then Dr. Pepper Zero. So it's comical. In fact, the absolute doo-doo tier is the Dr. Pepper Zero tier tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not fair I can't tell him I'm going to hit him with a Dr. Pepper can because I don't drink Dr. Peppers. I'll drink Diet Dr. Pepper or the Pepper Zeros. But yeah, I don't mess with the Dr. Pepper themselves. So
I love the diet. I've got you can't see me, but I drink probably 12 Diet Cokes a day. I don't know how I don't have kidney stones, but I like to do things to excess.
It seems like to me anyone who likes Diet Coke that I've ever met always drinks them in multiples. Like during the day. I've met someone else that would drink a whole 12 pack of Diet Cokes a day.
They're like Doritos.
Saying is, if it ain't a DC, it ain't for me.
That's right. Yeah, it's like Doritos. You can't just have one. Like this is my second one since we started the show. So really quick, just the teams I have on here, and we might ad hoc Notre Dame in here. I have all of these images sorted by conference. And Notre Dame refuses to join a conference, so they got left up. We got Florida State, Arkansas, Auburn, West Virginia, Bama, Boise State, just because they're a group of 5 team that seems to hang around, Florida, Georgia Tech, Illinois. You played them in a bowl, so I thought we'd put Illinois on here. I don't know if it's Illinois or Illinois. I don't understand the S.
It's Illinois. It's a singular Illinois that for a plural Illinois.
All right. Again, I am learning. We've got Kentucky. We've got Colorado, a fan base that loves WreckTalk. LSU, Michigan, Missouri. That's the team that he was streaming in the clip we just played. Mississippi State, Pete's absolute favorite team, NC State, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Oregon, Penn State, and we'll have you rank your own Gamecocks. Texas A&M, aren't they a rival? A&M, like
they're trying to force them on us as a rival, and it's becoming one, I guess.
Yeah, it's like an arranged marriage, I guess.
Something like that.
Texas, Central Florida, UGA. North Carolina, I would love to hear what you think about Belichick when we get there. Miami, USC, the other USC. I would think you might have problems with them because people never know who you're talking about when you say USC. Utah, Vandy, Virginia Tech, Washington, and the Vols, and the Taters, baby. All right. Let's just get started with everyone's least favorite team, unless you're a moron that lives in Tallahassee and is more concerned with lawsuits that you settle and say you win. Tell me about the Florida State. Have you gone at it with Florida State fans? What do you think about this fan base? Because they're probably the most out front right now.
Well, I know there was one that called into the Rob and Jackpot show religiously that just he kind of quit after his team quit, and after
Sure.
and look, I mean, I didn't give the guy that hard of a time. Look, I mean, it's not it's not for me to say. I get it. I understand why they're mad last year. I completely understand 100%. I get it. But I really pissed him off when I told them, I think the playoff committee made the right decision there. Well, you just show that because you're a South Carolina fan, you're stuck in Alabama. All you do. No, it's not that. Anybody can see that they didn't belong there, especially after that quarterback injury. And it's there. It's in the rules. It's in the little bylaw thing for the playoffs. If you lose a player who was pivotal to your season, then that can be a reason for you to be left out of the playoffs. I mean, it's and they wouldn't seem to understand that.
Did you tell this gentleman that?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I'm sure he received that well.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing, Jackpot. And then he went, well, tell me, well, what if it was your team? Blah, blah, blah. And at the time I said, my team is so far away from the playoffs. We have no shot at any playoffs anytime in the future. And then lo and behold, 2024 happened, and damn if we didn't almost make it. But other than that, I mean, my interactions with them online and that have been very rare because we don't play each other.
Yeah, have y'all ever played? You had to have at some point, right?
Oh yeah. I've went to see South Carolina and Florida State play once before South Carolina joined the SEC. We played Florida State pretty much on a yearly basis there for about 10 years.
Okay, well,
The last time we played them was a bowl game after, I believe, the 2010 season. We played them in the Chick-fil-A game. They beat us. That was the night, famously, our quarterback, Steven Garcia.
I remember him. Number 5, right?
He got in trouble with Steve Spurrier. I think he was either a sophomore or a junior at the time. Got in trouble with Steve Spurrier. He got caught with a couple of hookers and a significant amount of cocaine and alcohol, from what I understand, in his hotel room the night before the Florida State game. So
sounds like he should have been on the Slob cruise and not quarterback in South Carolina. I will say I respect Steve Spurrier. I've never seen someone yank quarterbacks in the middle of quarters, not even the middle of a game like Spurrier did. I mean, if it was me, they'd be in the Dr. Pepper Zero tier. I can't stand these idiots and absolute rejects to the human race. They literally, Jackpot, stay up all night typing in my comment section about why what they think's important. But this isn't my list. Where would you rank the Florida State retardinal?
For me, I'm going to have to put them in the. I'm going to probably put those guys in the. I'll go ahead and put them in the absolute dolt category.
Okay, that's probably fair. They are absolute dolts. So there, Florida State, Carolina Jackpot has decreed you are absolute dolts. Don't sue them. Don't sue them. Arkansas, is this a team? Have you dealt with any Arkansas fans or their fan base in your life?
Yeah, they're kind of dumb. After we played them a couple of years ago, they were getting kind of chesty and all kinds of mouthy on Twitter. Other than that, limited interaction with these folks. You don't see these folks. You don't see them online a lot. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. Is there a college football like side of the YouTube community that we just totally miss somehow? Because there are a lot of creators out there, like this Kangaroo Black dude.
Love him.
That's an Alabama man. He's got a ton of subscribers, but I don't ever watch any of his content because I can't absorb but so much. So I've never really watched him. But maybe maybe he's got an Arkansas fan that hangs out with him. But as for me and what I've seen, like from when I'm like watching Uncle Lou, or someone that normally has a lot of interaction on there, I don't see any presence of Arkansas fans on online. So I'm going to just really just put them in the never seen one category.
Never
Because
seen
I
one.
actually I have seen one, but it's so insignificant that we could just go on ahead and say I've never seen them.
I can't wait for your comment section to get flooded after tonight. What do you mean you never seen us, Jackpot? We everywhere. I do love Kangaroo.
What do you mean? I was just in your comment section last night. You just didn't know who I pulled for.
Yeah. Now, they are dumb for hiring Petrino. They hired him twice, didn't they? Are they the ones that hired him?
They hired him twice, and like the overwhelming thought is he's the coach in waiting for when Sam Pittman loses his job. But well, I mean, why would you just automatically make him your coach in waiting? He's an idiot. He screwed up the damn program at Louisville. They fired his ass like 10 years ago. He lost to Clemson like 77-16 or something. Want to make that your head coach in waiting?
There's not a program he hasn't pissed down their throats. He worked for going all the way back to the NFL with the Falcons. Yep, I'm your coach. And then next thing you know, he's singing Old Suey. You don't want to piss off Arthur Blank either. He pissed off Arthur Blank. Louisville hired him twice. I don't know what this guy has on ADs of schools, but, you know, Jackpot, I'm sure you've made bad mistakes once. I don't tend to make them twice, unless they're with the ladies. I'll make those 3 or 4 times, but yeah.
He kind of reminds me, in a way, it's almost like an older version of Hugh Freeze, maybe.
Yeah, ethically.
So, and I mean, Bobby Petrino hasn't amounted to jack shit, and I don't really expect Hugh Freeze to amount to jack shit. I mean, the guy, he's gotten more mileage off those 2 wins over Alabama like 10 years ago
at Ole Miss
than anything I've ever seen. I mean, he's ridden the coattails of that to numerous jobs and underperformed at all of them.
Well, Auburn's next on the list, so let's talk about Hugh Freeze. Just to set the stage, this guy is a moral degenerate. Now, he was paying players before it was legal to do, got in trouble for that. Then somehow, went to Liberty, which is a religious school. There were accusations of sexual misconduct, and instead of talking to his lawyer about it, he DM'd the girl accusing him directly, which seems like a genius move. And then Auburn hired him. So he also has hookers on speed dial, I believe. That's one of his recruiting pitches. I've never really had problems with Auburn fans. It seems like the Bama fans have been louder. Have you had problems with?
Yeah, they're some bastards. I don't like them. But they go in the absolute dope category for me, fringing on the absolute bottom tier.
So you have them above Florida State?
No, they're below. They're worse than Florida State.
Yeah.
Florida State would be almost fringing on close to never seen one.
Wow.
But Auburn's way down. They're very disrespectful to my Gamecocks. We get online, constantly bringing up the what they beat us in the SEC championship game, 56-17, and like 2010 or something. They're going to hold that over our heads forever. Okay, you won the Natty that year, and you had the Heisman Trophy winner, and we lost to you by 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fucking shit. I mean, let's end our fucking program there. We almost beat you that year too, because we played twice. So.
And they paid for him quite a bit. It seems like before it was cool.
Yeah. And they're not my favorite bunch to deal with.
Well, they also are one of these teams that can't make up their damn mind on what their mascot is, right? They have a tiger.
Yeah, they were originally the Plainsmen, and then I always, as growing up as a Ute, not a Utah Ute. That's a singular for youth. A Ute.
What is a Ute?
thought they were the Tigers. I thought they're the Auburn Tigers. And then I find out, well, wait a minute, then I find out all about this damn War Eagle thing. I'm like, well, what is this? I thought they were the Tigers. And my mom's like, my mom and I ended up, we turns out we went to more football games together back in the day because we had season's tickets. And it was like both my parents, they had the season's tickets. They only had 2 tickets. And I got to go with one or the other of them because they got a divorce.
Okay.
So it ends up, I go to all the games with my mom. So my dad pretty much got out of the equation on that deal. He just didn't really enjoy going to football games, which is kind of strange, but that's how that worked out. But she's like, I don't know, son. I'm like, well, Mom, why they got two different mascots? I don't know, Kale. I don't know. That's just the way it is. Okay. Because, there was no internet. She couldn't tell me to go Google it.
Yeah. And in her defense, I don't think anyone knows. I think this is one of the great mysteries of our time, why Auburn is the way it is. But we got to.
Well, they have an eagle or something it starts at the top of the stadium and it'll fly down and like it'll shit on the 50-yard line or something. I mean, supposedly it's something to behold.
Yeah, it'll draw up Steam and Randy on the field there. But we got them at the top of the absolute dolt. So if they're at the top, that means they're the highest ranking dolt. That's the way we're doing it. West Virginia. This is a team I don't hear much about other than, and I can't remember his name. Obviously Golden Blue Dude, but guy's name starts with a J. I can't remember at the moment. What do you think about the Mountaineers?
A guy named Joey. Was that maybe
Joey? Yeah, Joey F. That's it.
Okay. What about them?
Yeah, you interact with many West Virginia fans? I mean, they just hired Rich Rod again.
Yeah, I don't interact with many of them. I was watching, there was a Raspy Voice Kids was the name of one YouTube channel. It was 2 black dudes that were West Virginia fans that were always on there chopping it up. And whoever they were playing that week, they would always talk shit about them. Like, it was funny to watch them talking shit to Penn State and about how terrible Penn State's program was. It was loaded with pedophiles, knowing, they're going to go out there and get skull drugged by like 40.
Yeah.
They were talking shit. That was pretty funny. I've never had a bad interaction with any of their fans. I would definitely put them in the I'd put them in the tier below the Steve Spurrier bunch.
Never had a problem with the West Virginia fan. Neither have I. Now, a fan base I'm sure you have had a problem with, the Crimson Tide. Nick Saban retired now. What do you think of the Alabama fan?
I'm gonna tell you, you might think I'm crazy here. I'm gonna put them in the category with the West Virginia people. I've never had a problem with them. And I went to a game there, and we were in Bryant-Denny last October. I actually live streamed almost the entire fourth quarter of that game from my seat, and that was a heartbreaker. That was a crier.
Yeah,
it absolutely was. And all their fans. I was sitting on the top. No, not the top. Excuse me. Next to last row of the stadium, which is not a bad. Have you ever went to that particular venue?
Tuscaloosa?
Yeah.
I almost did. I haven't. I was going to see them play A&M, but then it was like $900 a ticket. And if I'm going to go, I'm not going to sit in the nosebleeds, right? If I'm going to a game, I'm going to get good tickets. So I have not been.
Look, I was in the nosebleeds, but I mean, the tickets, they weren't bad seats, and they have an overhang, which I thought was cool. A lot of stadiums don't have that, but they have an overhang, kind of like you would see at a baseball stadium. So you can sit there all day and it's 80 degrees and you don't get hot. But aside from that, their fans were, they were pretty complimentary of South Carolina. And I wouldn't have thought that, because for the longest, we were the only SEC East team that had beaten them in at least like the previous 15 years or so. Not Tennessee, not Georgia, not Florida, not anybody else. The Gamecocks were the SEC East team that had kind of owned Bama a little bit. And then we played them in 2019. They beat us by like 4 touchdowns. So that kind of took the shine off that one.
That doesn't surprise me. So my ex-wife, her family's all from Alabama. So they're either Auburn or Alabama fans, and they're all great. I think for them, they've won so much, they're not quite as annoying about it, because when you're winning a national title every other year, I think that evens you out a little bit, But that's the Bama fans. Now, I got Boise State on here. I've never seen a Boise State fan, never interacted with one. I know they've had some success. They had the Oklahoma Statue of Liberty play, but I never heard any of their fans talk about it on the internet, not in our venue.
Yeah, no, I've never seen one. I will tell you, though, that the ones of them that got out on the 50-yard line when they won that conference championship game against UNLV to go to the playoffs, they got some balls, man. I don't know if you saw that, but you talk about storming the court, they're storming the field. Well, there's that, and then there's what they did. Like, literally every one in that stadium ended up on that field after the game was over with. It was nothing but a sea of humanity.
Wow. Yeah, I missed
I'm like, the stands were totally empty. You saw nothing but silver bleachers, and then 35 or whatever. I mean, it holds 35,000 people on a football field together, nuts to butts.
Man. Yeah, I'm with you. I've never seen one. Now, I would think you like the Florida Gators, though, because Tennessee can't beat them to save their life, or historically they haven't been able to. What do you think about the Gators there in Gainesville?
No, they're really delusional. They love talking shit too to the Gamecocks. I'd put them at dope level too, but higher than Auburn, lower than Florida State, somewhere there in the muddy middle of that category.
So
I don't care for the Florida fan base that much.
So Auburn's the biggest dolt, then it's Florida, and then Florida State. They're on the teeter of being never seen one.
Correct.
They do have probably the most delusional fan on the internet. I'm sure Octavian has called in to your show.
Oh, almost every time.
He's called in to my show, and I like it because he talks shit about Georgia, and I could listen to that all day. I listen to people talk trash to Georgia all day. I've never had any interaction with the Florida fan though. Georgia Tech, my home team. What do you think about the Jackets?
Well, obviously, I'm going to put that up there in the Steve Spurrier tier.
Obviously,
because every Georgia Tech fan that I've ever met in person, which is, probably consists of yourself, Sea-Dog, and your close personal friends and relatives, that's about the damn extent of it. It really is.
Yeah.
I've not had a whole lot of interaction with the Ramblin' Wreck type of people. So you're all good folks. Been long suffering in football, kind of like South Carolina has. You're getting a little bit of a resurgence right now that South Carolina has, but you're not chesty about it. I don't hear anybody that's delusional and thinks that hey, we're going to the playoffs this year. I don't hear any of that stuff. Just good solid expectations. So definitely putting Georgia Tech up there in the top tier so far.
Yeah, I think Georgia Tech and South Carolina are similar teams right now. I'm not saying we're as talented as South Carolina or anything like that, but as far as two teams that are on the rise, I think South Carolina and Georgia Tech are two teams that if you're one of the Ohio States of the world or LSU, one of these blue blood programs, you don't want to play South Carolina or Georgia Tech right now. I can't speak for South Carolina, but Georgia Tech seems to play up to whatever level of talent they're playing and down to whatever level. They definitely have the ability to beat good teams, though. But I appreciate it. Now, I put this on here for a reason because there was a huge snafu during the bowl game with this Illinois coach. Did you have any Illinois fans call in talking shit about Beamer? Have you interacted with these guys?
No, there was some jackass over on TikTok that's actually an Illinois graduate and an Illinois football and basketball fan who actually runs around with I don't know, this kid's like 30 years old that's running around making TikTok videos with a throwback Jeff George Illinois jersey on, has an Illinois tattoo on both calves. He's all line-eyed up, man. And he was talking some mad shit back and forth with me after that game. So that was the only one that I really had an interaction with. I saw they did have some kind of a presence on Twitter, but I mean
Really?
they went away pretty quickly. I mean they took the little win and ran with it, and then they concentrated on whatever it is that entertains them up there during
Yeah.
that time of year, which I'm assuming is basketball or hockey.
So you're going to put them never seen, adult?
I'm going to put them in the never seen one because I have seen one, but not for very long. I mean, yeah. I
They're
mean,
like
I
leprechauns.
think I think South Carolina got a whole lot more mileage and entertainment out of the Fat Burt blow up with Shane Beamer than anyone did there. Which Shane Beamer better watch out. I mean, because that guy, I mean,
He gets worked up.
he does. He gets too worked up, and that guy looks like he would probably take him to Pound Town and not think twice about it, man. I mean, I don't know if he'd survive that beatdown.
Yeah, it'd be a bad time getting your ass beat on national television. All
Yeah,
right.
because he strikes me as a fat guy, but he also, like, there are those fat guys who actually have some cardio and they actually have a little bit more stamina than you would think that they do, just judging off their appearance. He strikes me as that kind of individual.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
All right, the Wildcats, team that's been in the East with you when you still had divisions. What they got? Brock Vandergriff right now. They've had Stoops for a while. They were a rat's pube hair away from beating Georgia last year, and they screwed that up royally. What do you think about the Wildcat fan base?
I'm gonna put them down in the shitter tier.
Why? Oh, they're the first Dr. Pepper Zero. Oh
yeah,
man,
they're absolute morons. Just listen to any of them that call into our shows. They're horrible. They absolutely are.
they have football fans.
Yeah, they do. And here's how dumb these people were. After our first game of the season, this past year, I guess we struggled with Old Dominion, but we won. And I don't remember who they beat in week 1. It was some nobody. The game got shortened by lightning, and they beat them like, I don't know, 28-0 or whatever. So we're rolling into Lexington. We're going to beat you by 3 touchdowns. Kentucky's probably going to win this one by 30. Kentucky might reach the 50s in this game. We beat them like 30. I don't remember what it was. 34-6 or something.
I'll look it up.
Their fans were leaving in the third quarter. It's just absolutely humiliating and embarrassing.
Oh, you did it in Lexington.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kentucky football. Let's see how bad you beat them 31-6.
31-6.
They didn't score in the second half. They scored all their points in the second quarter. I can't
even remember them scoring. I think they kicked a couple of field goals.
Yeah, they kicked 2 field goals to get to 6. You know what? I remember you making a video about that now. They were thinking a lot of themselves. That was before South Carolina had kind of shown that they were a team to be reckoned with last year. And I guess they effed around and found out with you.
They fucked around and found out. And I warned a lot of people before that. We had Gamecock fans too, though. I can't blame it all on the Kentucky, man. We got Gamecock fans running around the internet. I was pissed. Now, I was pissed about the way we looked in that game,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to let it roll over to the next week against Kentucky. I wasn't giving you predictions and saying we're going to lose this game to Kentucky by double digits. We don't stand a chance in Lexington, blah, 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 blah. No, I knew that. Look, I heard a long time ago, and the first person I heard it from was the esteemed Lou Holtz. You are never as bad as you looked last week, and you're never as good as you looked last week. And that rang out true for that game. 100%.
Yeah. I agree with that. I see what you guys are saying in the chat. What we're going to do, we're going to swap Central Florida for Notre Dame. So I can't do it live here, but just know this Central Florida, that is Notre Dame. They're kind of similar colors and, in my mind, of similar relevance because I absolutely hate Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's the biggest coup de grace that UCF has gotten since that fake national championship a few years ago is being dubbed as the Notre Dame substitute on the WreckTalk stream.
That's right. Yeah, and look, for me, Florida State, I've gone at it with them. I was like, what are y'all going to do? Lawsuit national?
Yeah,
World
they're going
Championship
to hang banners on the side of their practice facility. They've already got one. It says 2017 national champions. Now it's got to say WreckTalk Notre Dame substitute 2025.
Yeah, damn. They down bad, ain't they? Let's talk about another fan base that I can't stand. And they're really not. First of all, it annoys me because I was born in Colorado. So let's talk about Colorado. Papa Rec was a military man at one point. I was born at Fort Carson. That's just out of Colorado Springs. Got pictures of Little Wreck on top of Pikes Peak. Luckily, I could breathe well at that altitude. And I made it, guys. I made it. I can't stand the Colorado fan base, though. They overperformed last year. But I think they're in for a rude awakening. I did hear what Lou has said about him. I tend to agree. I think they're going to tumble this year. Everyone who was talented left that team. What do you think about the Colorado fans? Have you had them chirp at you about how great this guy is?
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. It's hard to distinguish who's a Colorado fan and who actually is just a fan of Deion Sanders.
Most of them are Deion
fans. I mean, I don't know that they have that many of them.
They don't.
But the thing that got me, last year, if you watched Colorado, well, the thing was that I mentioned it about halfway through the season. Hey, have you guys noticed something about Colorado? I was like, we haven't heard anything from them this year, and they've been winning some games, but I haven't heard the silliness, the ha-ha, the rap music at practice, we're going to follow everything, put everything on social media.
Twitter handles on their practice jerseys.
It's like they just kind of got down to playing football. In 2023, they were acting like a bunch of clowns, and it was just, circus time 24/7. They finished 4-8. And the thing that got me is if you dared say anything negative about this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Look at all this talent this guy's got, and he's squandering it. Oh, this guy's got a ton of great skill players, but he has no lines of scrimmage. That's why his teams suck. Then immediately you were dubbed a racist on the internet by their fan base or the Deion Sanders fans, which I just absolutely couldn't stand.
Yeah, I just don't like them. That's just
couldn't stand it. I've had when I've criticized Penn State's play calling, when I've criticized the fact they can't beat Michigan or Ohio State, they can't get over the hump. No one has ever came at me and said, "Well, you're a racist because you just don't like James Franklin." That's the whole thing. Why? That's why you don't like Penn State. No, that's not true. We're talking football here.
Yeah, and there's objective silly things he does. Like he did get Juju Lewis out of Carrollton, which is right down the road from me, but he hasn't cared much about recruiting. Like when he was hired, he comes in with his own rap music. Basically says if you're injured, you're not salvageable. And then videos it like, look, we all know things like this happen. Like people are told to hit the transfer portal for a variety of reasons. It happens at Georgia Tech, South Carolina, every school. There's not a coach that films, dressing down a kid though. That stuck with me, and evidently Georgia Tech had contacted Dion, and I was one of the first ones I think that came out and said, "No, I'm glad. I think this guy could be a train wreck." So, where would you put?
They contacted him before
Colorado hired him. Tech, I guess, had sent some people down to talk to him, and he had some demands that he wanted met. And I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I imagine some of them were academic in nature, and Georgia Tech's never going to budge on that.
Was Jeff Collins still there then, or was that after Key was like the interim coach?
That was after Key was the interim.
So and this was during the point where they were deciding, are we just going to give him the gig up full time, or are we going to hire another coach?
Yeah, and I don't know how seriously they considered him. Like, I think Jamie Chadwell, if I had to guess, was their number one choice. But he also had demands I didn't want to capitulate to. And, we hired Key. Key's this lazy hire. You guys are a bunch of morons. And he's turned out to be pretty good for us.
Turned out it worked out pretty good. Sometimes it turns out that these guys, I don't know. It's like these guys really, I don't know what I want to say. They relish the opportunity to be a coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than some who already are coaches and just think that, well, this is my next stop. It's a proving ground for them. It's kind of like Beamer in a way.
No, 100%.
I don't think it takes for granted the opportunity's been given there.
So before I ask you where they go, I'll say this. This is a big thing for me too. Is fraud has followed this man everywhere he's been, almost up to this point. I mean, his son beat a guy into incontinence when he was a high schooler. He's had multiple occurrences where $75,000 worth of jewelry goes missing. I don't know why you would carry $75,000 worth of jewelry to a away game. Prime Academy was this massive fraud that the government got involved with. So,
Prime Academy.
Yeah. Have you heard of it?
I've never heard this spoken of.
It was like a high school he had started because his kids, they've only ever played for him, going all the way back to high school. So it was one of these prep academies. He had promised every kid here is going to get $1,000 laptop. That never happened. There was issues with the lunches and that funding, and that was investigated. I don't know whatever came of that, but
so who's going to start his own school?
He did start his own school. He was on the board of it.
Did they have Bishop Sycamore on their schedule?
I don't know if they did, but it was something akin to that. I mean, it was definitely something akin to that. And look,
that sounds real shady.
It's super shady. So where would you put Colorado? And really, let's just be honest. We're talking about Deion Sanders fans here. Someone in the chat was right. I should have just put a picture of him up here with his gold chains and show me the money. Where do they go?
Well, because of the way they acted in 2023, Dr. Pepper 0.
Oh, yeah. They got to be worse
than Kentucky. Just ranking it based on last year, though, it would have been never saw one because they weren't that bad. They kind of mirrored him and the team. Like I said, there was a lot of ha-ha in 2023, a lot of silliness, and I just can't forgive that. So you got to go in the shitter. Sorry, Colorado.
Are they worse?
Not sorry.
Are they worse than Kentucky?
No.
Oh, okay. So they'll go behind Kentucky. LSU, a game that I'm sure is seared in your memory from last year. You won't talk about it, but I will. There's an unwritten rule in our community that, bitching about officiating is just frowned upon for good reason, because you could always say that, right? Oh, well, we lost because bad officiating. That's one I think you can say you definitely got hosed on. What do you think about the LSU fan base?
Yeah, I don't care for them. Just a kind of an obnoxious fan base anyway.
Yeah, they're loud.
And always has been known for being rather loud. And obnoxious, which is fine. But after that game, of course, we were salty. I'm not gonna lie, I was salty as hell after that game.
Yeah.
And the way that thing played out there, and of course they're all over the internet. We read the ball down your throat in the second half. LSU should have won by 4 touchdowns. And no, the hell you shouldn't have. You're lucky to get out of there damn win. Just shut up. Just shut up. And then they had this guy out of Baton Rouge. He was on a radio show there. But he also has some kind of Twitter internet presence. This guy, this Matt Moscona was his name. This little bald-headed prick, which I'm bald too, but I don't know. This guy was
But
cool.
you're not a prick.
That's a little dick, and he's making these videos, and he's like, "You lost the game. It's Monday, and you're still crying about the officials." Making fun of us. So if the roles were reversed, like your ass wouldn't be crying. I just wanted to punch that damn cocksucker through my damn through my computer screen. I couldn't stand that fucker. I made some videos with him as the subject there too, and tagged him in them, but he never would respond to me.
They won't. Yeah, they don't like to do
because
it.
I wanted to get into it with him.
He wouldn't engage. Well, he doesn't want that smoke.
He wouldn't engage. That's how they do. That's how they do. They talk shit and then they run. But yeah, not my favorite. It's not the worst. I'm going to put that one in the adult category as well. We'll keep them out of the Dr. Pepper Zero tier because I do have a few that come around my streams that have been, we got our friend Tiger Cat.
Yeah.
She's pretty cool. She doesn't come on streams or anything much, but I've got one named Randall that comes on my streams a good bit. They're good people, so can't hold it against them that the majority of their fan base is crawfish breath, Dixie beer swilling morons.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else about these guys that want to be super annoying that I've learned. They'll never call in. They won't ever call into your show.
No.
Because they're scared. All right, Michigan, a team I haven't. I mean, they the whole cheating scandal, yada yada yada. But I haven't ever got into it when they're fans, being in the Big Ten.
Yeah, true. I'm gonna have to put that in the never seen one category as well. I mean, they are, and they're everywhere, but they're really not loud. And I think they realize where that championship. I think they realize what kind of fueled that, and they're not gonna.
Yeah, there's an asterisk.
With Ohio State fans, I mean, their relationship is just totally different than it is with their relationship with the fans of any other team. I mean, it's like its own little separate world over there between those two guys.
For sure. What about Missouri? There's another East team for you.
I'm going to have to throw Missouri up there in the Steve Spurrier tier as well. I like Missouri, man. There's a lot of similarities there with them in South Carolina. They're both kind of SEC expansion teams. Us a good 20 years prior to their arrival in the SEC, but both of them kind of didn't belong, I think, and both end up proving that they do belong with some solid seasons on the football field. And they got a podcast, some guys that do a podcast, the Mazodcast. They do one every week during football season, but they've been kind of slack lately. They were doing some during basketball, but you guys should check that out, the Mazodcast.
Okay.
It's freaking hilarious. These guys are just quick-witted, and I love it. But they sent me some potato chips too. About these Luther Burden potato chips.
Oh man,
those are NIL potato chips. Now the backstory to this is I had a bag of these Red Hot Riplets. They sent that to me probably back about the beginning of 2023, and I held on to it. And I said, I'm going to eat these potato chips when we finally beat his ass. So I couldn't eat them last year or 2023. I couldn't eat them.
They're aged. Yeah.
Right. So finally, I was able to eat them in 2024. And they had went out of date in January, I believe, of 23. I think that's when these. Yeah, February of. No, these are actually have a good date on them. So they're still making them. But anyway, those were out of date, seriously bad. The red hot riplets, but I did bust them open and eat them at our live show, the Rob and Kel show live show from the Callaway Sports Bar and Grill in West Columbia, home of the biggest golden tea lounge in the Midlands of South Carolina. If that tickles your fancy, but those chips actually weren't that bad. I mean, they didn't slap. But they weren't that bad. But I want to notice something here on this bag. Best by February 17th, 2025. So they are now, in fact, out of date. But they say on them in fine print they're not for sale in California. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. California's weird, right?
California's very weird. But so their residents can't buy. They can't support Luther Burden.
That's messed up, man.
Well, I hope he doesn't get drafted to the Rams or the Chargers, yeah?
Yeah.
They didn't support you.
They don't support them. Can't eat the chips. How about Mississippi State? There's a West team.
Mississippi State's going to have to. What's our second tier there?
Never had a problem with.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with a Mississippi State person.
Yeah,
there was a really obese guy that did. I don't know if he did YouTube videos. I think he did like Facebook videos years ago. That would ring the cowbell. He was really annoying. But I can't. I haven't seen that guy in forever. He may have died actually.
Yeah.
Now
right.
I think about it.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with them. Now a team I know Pigskin Pete hates, NC State, but I've never had a problem with. I'm probably going to travel. We play them in North Carolina this year. That's probably going to be the game I go to. I'll drive up there. You ever? I mean, they're not far from you, right? They're a few hundred miles.
I'm going to put them in. I'm going to put them in the adult tier too. They were in 2017 when we played them in Charlotte in that kickoff game. They were pretty chesty. They were ranked, preseason top 20. I want to say that's when they had Bradley Chubb on their defensive line. He was going to be a first-round draft pick, and I can't remember what that quarterback's name was. Somebody can remember there, but he was kind of a gunslinger, and they were playing the Gamecocks.
Glennon?
I think they were a touchdown favorite, and they were thinking they were going to run it up on us, and they were talking mad shit before the game. Of course, we just went in there and just beat their ass. And shut them up. But yeah, they're kind of an annoying fan base. Now I can get the frustration there from Pigskin Pete because they definitely have much more of a history with them. But I will tell you something about them that pissed me off. So back in the 80s, specifically, let's roll it back to 1986.
All right,
1986. South Carolina team with freshman quarterback Todd Ellis, who is now actually the Gamecocks play-by-play guy on the radio there. If you'll ever listen to our games on Saturday, his touchdown call is like 3-1, touchdown Carolina, touchdown Lenora Sellers. So he gets pretty into it. But anyway, Todd's freshman quarterback in 86. We ended up finishing the year 3-6-2 under head coach Bill Morrison. But I'm telling you, South Carolina was in it. They lost at home to a top 5 Nebraska team by 3 points. Lost at home against Georgia in a play 31-26, and they were in the top 10 at the time, in a play where Georgia fumbled on the last play of the game. What they actually did, and this was before the victory formation and taking a knee was a thing. They got the ball. They're inside their own territory. They're at their own 40. Their quarterback takes a snap. He runs the clock out, sets the ball on the turf, one of Carolina's defensive backs picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown.
Wow.
So they have a big meeting at midfield, and it's ruled that, well, since he set the ball on the ground after the clock hit 0, the play was dead. There is no touchdown. The game is over. No, and our coach, Drew Morrison, goes, he went ballistic. It's like, no. He's like, that's a fucking touchdown, damn it. I mean, does anybody else here not know the fucking rules of football? So they lost a game like that. They played Clemson, who was ranked in the top 10. We tied. It was like 21-21. It's like kissing your sister. Tied a Virginia Tech team that didn't lose a regular season game. So it was just a nuts, upside down, wild year. But anyway, they play NC State, who's I think was undefeated at the time too, on the road in Raleigh. We fall behind by like, I want to say 17 points. Then Todd Ellis and Sterling Sharp start coming back in the second half. All of a sudden, their damn clock goes out at their stadium. So they're keeping the time on the field. Not advantageous for the home team at all, I'm sure.
No.
South Carolina comes back, takes a lead. I want to say it was 22-17. The time's running out. Now, granted, by this time the scoreboard has been fixed. They call some bullshit penalty on Carolina on the last play of the game, a defensive penalty. So NC State gets an untimed down from our 40-yard line. They throw a Hail Mary touchdown pass, win the fucking game. The next year they come to Columbia. We beat their ass like 48-0. I mean, we got some revenge on them. But anyway, 2 years later, I want to say it was in '89 there. That's Todd Ellis' senior year. We're going to fast forward to that. We have, by this time, the coach Morrison had died in the offseason before the '89 season. So we had to go find a coach. They hired Sparky Woods, who was the coach at Appalachian State, to be the head coach. And this is Todd Ellis' senior year. And we're sitting here like 6-1. I won't remember this one. This was in Columbia. It was I think it was a game that actually kicked off at like 3:30. I want to say it was on ABC. But I was there anyway. Todd gets knocked out in the first quarter. Knocked him out of the game. Tore his knee up. He didn't play another snap the rest of his college career, and we went on to lose to them that day, 20-10, behind Dickie DeMacy, who was a redshirt junior quarterback, I want to say, from Irmo, South Carolina. He was a walk-on who had not played a snap, and then he had to start the rest of the games, and we ended up shitting the bed. They actually did beat North Carolina, though. They were terrible. But it was rumored that they found a towel on one of the NC State players that was holding here, and he had a list of numbers drawn on his towel, a Sharpie marker. That was his hit list, and Todd Ellis's number 9 was on that hit list. And this just happened to be the one who injured Todd's knee. So, yeah, so long story short, I know I went the long way about that. That's why I don't like them. I've held a grudge for over 30 years against NC State for ending Todd Ellis's college career prematurely and spoiling what could have been another special season.
That's rough. All right, so we're a little bit after 10, so I'm not going to go through all of these teams on here. A big one, though, is Ohio State. I know there's a lot of people that have problems with Ohio State fans. Like I know Lou, I know Pete have big issues with them. I've never had an issue with them. Have you run across Ohio State fans chirping at you?
No, they have kind of tried to get a little bit chesty with me before, and I tell them, look, you've never beat South Carolina. You're 0-2 against the Gamecocks. You lost 2 Outback Bowls to South Carolina. I mean, I don't want to converse with you. Really, I mean,
they're beneath you.
We're pretty much dominant against you.
So they're just they can't be never seen one. You've just never had a problem with them because you've dominated them, right?
Yeah, never had a problem with.
Man, Ohio State's down bad. Now, a team I've definitely had problems with. I can't stand these sons of bitches. I'll take being a Tech fan any day and not having a freaking IQ ceiling that I can't eclipse and root for the team. If you've never dealt with these knuckle dragging, idiotic, inbred morons, and I grew up near Athens, they think it's their birthright to win a national title. They talk shit about this. Is what they complained to me about last year, Jackpot, having to play UMass on a short week before Tech.
Oh my God.
That was their damn excuse for how they played. They are the softest fan base known to man and the most annoying. Now, that's my take. What do you think about these dirty, mangy, stinky dogs in the cesspool that's known as Athens, Georgia?
Well, now, a lesser man would just, I just agree with you there. But I mean, honestly, of some of the SEC fan bases, that's not one of the ones that tops my list as far as being annoying. And I don't know why it should, because they don't have any respect for us.
No, they don't have respect for themselves while they live in a trailer park.
Yeah, they don't. But they've never. I've never had a problem with them. I'm going to have to put it there. I've never had a problem with the Georgia fan base.
All right, so where would you put them? Just never had a problem with?
I'm just going to put them in the never had a problem with them category, and I haven't. I know I should have, but for whatever reason, it's just they just haven't rubbed me that wrong way yet. Now, I'm sure it could happen, and it may.
Oh yeah,
but as of yet, it has not.
Well, they're my Clemson and Tennessee for you. I mean, they just won't shut up ever. And like Brent Key said something about not liking them. They're still not over it. They're still not over it. Like who gives a shit? I wish I was a Georgia fan. You realize I could be one now this is a choice. There isn't a test you take to be a Georgia fan other than a below 70 IQ. What are you talking about?
Who said that? Did somebody tell you that?
Oh, these guys in the chat. If you want to hate some Georgia fans, just read my chat, and you'll see plenty of them.
Wesley says that UGA will spray Raid all over the insects.
Clever.
That is.
You know what?
That Wesley, he's on one tonight.
You know what we don't do? Go around buzzing at other Georgia Tech fans. Could you imagine? You're the Gamecocks, right? Could you imagine seeing another South Carolina fan and clucking at them and being proud of that? That's what they do. But hey, this ain't about me. Let's move on to North Carolina. Now, this is another. You know how you said that you just own Ohio State? That's how we are with North Carolina. We've beat them 4 years in a row. They haven't won the ACC since 1980. No one's ever given a shit about North Carolina football.
1980? Wow.
Yeah, that's a fact. They're the new 1980. Their basketball team that's supposed to be this premier program loses money. Now, they were
crying tonight. I mean, seriously, the coach was crying. Some of the players were tearing up too because they lost to Duke again. I mean, well, they lost to Duke by like 40 a couple of weeks ago, and then tonight they lose to them. They tried to make a comeback, I guess, and that comeback fell short. But I mean, they weren't even supposed to be there. The team hadn't been good this year.
They have not. They're down bad.
And that guy, he's probably going to get fired.
Probably. So they bring in Belichick as far as I can tell, a publicity stunt in the same way Dion kind of was that. Like, say what we want about Dion. He injected money into their program. He's gotten people talking about him. I kind of think the same thing about Bill Belichick. Now, their fans have not been super annoying to me. I have gone back and forth with them. That's another school.
They like to hire old coaches. You think they'll just reuse the same little cabinet that Matt Brown put his adult diapers in? Do you think Belichick will put his in there too, or do you think maybe he left some of his diapers there for him to use? Maybe
I think
rite of passage.
I think they'll find that old lady that threw the heart of the ocean in the end of the Titanic movie's granddad and hire him as their coach. They do love old coaches. You know, that was their issue with Mac Brown. Now, Mac Brown probably did have some mental issues for hiring Jeff Collins, who was a proven loser at Georgia Tech and a bunch of silliness. But I'll be honest, I went up there last year just to get tickets behind Jeff Collins to tell him what an absolute knuckle dragging idiot he was. And he definitely knew Wreck was there. He didn't wear socks, which was interesting. But their fans were actually quite pleasant. You know, I hate North Carolina. I don't have a problem with their fans, though. What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in a never seen one category. I mean, we played them on a semi-regular basis, but their presence online, their their shit talking game is it's either weak or non-existent, or they just have no desire to do it. So yeah, they're definitely going to the never seen one category. But I'm not going to put them in. I don't have a problem with them because I do. I don't like their little baby blue wine and cheese fucking bullshit persona. But other than that, I've never seen one.
Yeah, all the Tobacco Road teams, they get kowtowed to by the ACC. They get everything they want. Look, I say it all the time. This is a team that cheated for a decade across all sports academically.
Well, longer, but I mean, yeah, they were making up fake. What was it? Fake courses that didn't even exist. They were giving out fake degrees.
I think North Carolina should have lost.
Supposedly an esteemed institution, and they're giving. That's like I mean, that's to me that's weird. That's like Yale giving out fake diplomas.
Yes, they are on. I mean, they're an academic juggernaut. I think they should have lost accreditation for that because obviously a degree from there, not all of them are worth anything. I mean, these are people that are getting credit for classes they never attended. Never attended. Moving on, Ole Miss, good old Lane Kiffin. Now, he made a complete ass of himself at the end of last season, crying, bitching, whining, complaining. To anyone that would listen, he's already canceled his spring games because he is the king of poaching your roster by watching your spring games. It happened to Georgia Tech not once, but twice. What do you think about the Ole Miss crying Lane Kiffins?
Yeah, he makes an ass of himself on a regular basis, and like any good fan base, they're going to defend their coach. And I haven't seen one say anything negative about him. I cannot stand that guy. With the whole trolling persona, the poaching people's players, and that he just strikes me as just a slimy used car salesman type of individual. And then he goes out there and he wins, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, I don't think that Georgia was his first big win this year. You go back from that, he come close. Like at Tennessee, he'd almost beat Alabama. I don't think he had beaten a top 10 team up to that. And I'll tell you what he strikes me as. I tell you what he kind of aspires to be, particularly in his media interviews, is Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier was quippy, but he was funny. Like, I remember they were asking all these coaches, like, at SEC Media Days, like, give us a one-word, like, definition of your team. One word that embodies your team. So, like, this was in Mark Richt was the coach at Georgia. He's like toughness. They asked Steve Spurrier, are you all right?
I'm watching fucking Clemson play basketball. And God damn it, Louisville. Fucking get your head out of your ass, motherfuckers. If these son of bitches win this fucking tournament, I'm gonna lose my fucking marbles. I know the ACC sucks this year. They're down bad. They really are down bad, and I'm not just saying that because Clemson's doing what basketball. Obviously, they do have a good team, but the ACC's down bad. Both can be true.
They are in basketball right now. That is a fact. That is a fact. Well, maybe Louisville will get their head out of their asses. Where do we
but you guys beat them, and then so did we. So
Yeah.
They're not above losing to shitty teams.
Thanks.
Could happen.
But Steve Spurrier's one word for his team. He just said, "We're all right."
Yeah. Well, Steve, old balls had he had what was it? An endearing persona.
Yeah, you liked him. You wanted to have a
He
beer
had
with
an
him.
endearing persona. There's nothing endearing about Lane Kiffin. He has a douchebag persona.
Yeah. So are they going in Dr. Pepper Zero? I mean, we can have them guilty by association via coach. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Which is it's a social media type persona too. You know, Steve Spurrier didn't develop his persona over social media,
didn't
over
exist.
Twitter. It was
Yeah.
in the press conferences. There's too many of these guys that develop their personas over social media, and it just makes them look fake and disingenuous. Because I mean, you can be whatever you want to be on social media. And I know we're here on social media right now too, but
We're different though, Jackpot. We're different.
We are different.
Now I will say this: I did go when we played them. I traveled to Oxford with Papa Rec. Never been treated better by an opposing fan base. They were offering to buy us beer. Like, hey, you're the visitor. If you want a beer, we'll go buy you one. So I would probably put them in Steve Spurrier just based on their fan base, but I'd probably cut the difference between them and their coach. Where would you rank them?
I'm going to put them in the never seen one category because once again they're another one that doesn't have a big online presence. Like
No.
there's no Mississippi Jackpot.
No, God, what would that look like?
I've never ran across him or her.
Mississippi Jackpot.
Him, her, or what, I don't know what their pronouns would be.
They'd probably have one though.
Yeah, rebel. So I'll put them in that category. I'm resisting the temptation to put them in the adult category because of the coach. We can't hold that against the fan base.
Mississippi Queen. All right, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, Jesus's chosen team, watches every game. I can't stand them. What do you think about these Fighting Irish?
I've never had a problem with these people either.
All right, put them up here.
Yeah, I never really have. You know, with me, the ones that I dislike, you'll come to see it's really concentrated. You know, I kind of I can kind of sum up most of my hatred into a small group of about 5 or less.
All right, we'll get to them then. Is Miami one of them? They're one for me, but I'm an ACC guy.
Yeah. Once again, yeah. I mean, South Carolina, we have no reason to really do a whole lot of interacting with those folks in that way.
All right.
You know, I thought their quarterback was a huge douchebag for quitting at halftime of his game until our defensive back, Nick Evan-Ward, did the same damn thing like 2 days later. And I'm like, well, can't talk shit about that anymore. You know, woo, that one flew out the window. Other than that, of course, their coach has made some boneheaded moves that seem like cost them some games here the past couple of years or so.
Against these guys,
the bed a lot in big moments. There's no reason they should have won the ACC championship game last year. They should have been in the playoffs. Should have been representing your ACC. They just shit down the back of their legs there.
They can't beat
there was
Georgia
no
Tech.
excuse for that. And Clemson, of course, beats their chest. Well, look what we did. Just another playoff team. It's just another year. Just another Saturday. We're going to the playoffs again. Oh, fuck off.
All right, so I'm going to rattle these off. Texas, I'm assuming you don't have a strong opinion on.
Nah.
Vandy, I mean, they were up this year, but other than Vandy Dandy,
Holy shit, Louisville's got a kid with a Hannibal Lecter mask on playing basketball.
Damn.
Yeah, terrifying. They do. Sure as shit. Looks like number 8 or number 0. Can't tell. He's over there tied up with number 0 is tied up with Ian Shefflin right now.
Gotcha. Well, all right, let's just go to the back of the list here. This is what everyone wants to know. Tell me about the Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee is the worst as far as an online presence, especially after they've beaten you. They come at you in a huge wave, and it doesn't stop, and they gang up, and it's almost like a tsunami. They have to have probably one of the biggest fan bases in college football, if
Yep.
not the biggest, and they are annoying. And they have a lot of fans who forget a lot of recent history too. They have a lot of dumb fans. They have some smart ones too. They got some dyed-in-the-wool Tennessee Vol fans, and I don't have a problem with. But I mean, some of these young dumb fucks are just—they're just too much, man. They are too much.
They are vocal.
Now I know our buddy Squid Tard is over there. He's a Tennessee man. I think he might be a Tennessee graduate actually. Now he actually will come with some facts.
He will. He's a smart one.
So he's not. He's one of the better ones. But they have some extremely delusional individuals over there, in that fan base, and they come at you and with both feet stomping, and they will not stop.
No, and the dumb part of their fan base is dumb. I ran across this when we signed Josh Petty, who they had recruited, and they said we were dumb for spending money on him. Meanwhile, they're paying Nico how much?
They recruited him, but you're dumb for
paying him what we did. I watched.
So they weren't going to pay him. He was going to come play for them for free.
Well, they said the amount we paid him. They said hooked on Tennessee or something. They're like, this is a red flag. Red flag for Georgia Tech. What, that we're spending money on players? That what everyone trashed us for 50 years or something? Yeah, they are something else. I ran across them, but I do like Squid. And they're another East team for you. We'll see how they do this year. Nico's been quite a disappointment. If I was spending $8 million on that guy's career and he did jack all shit for me, I would be pretty pissed.
I got to think he's gonna level up big time this year for some reason. I have a feeling, but the thing about it is, I really don't know who he's gonna throw to. I don't know which. They've got some young playmakers, I think, as far as at receiver. So maybe those guys come into their own this year. South Carolina recruited one of them. He was actually from South Carolina and chose to, go to that shithole, which is fine. Maybe he'll become a star. But I would think which last year, their whole offense was predicated around their running back, Dylan Sampson. They don't have that this year. Now they'll tell you, but we got Jimmy Joe Bob Jericho or whoever that's running back now that's just as good as Dylan Sampson was.
Yeah. They never lose anything.
Well, he's just as good. Dylan Sampson was taking the snaps, but so I think Nico is going to have to be called on to do a little bit more this year. I think he might live up to. Well, I don't know if he's ever going to live up to the hype that they created for him. But I think that was false hype.
It's hard to live up to.
Have a really good year.
Sure. Two things from Rambling On. One, he says Jimmy Joe Bob Jericho is elite man. Stop playing. He also wants to know, he says, ask Jackpot his opinions on Ian Bitchlin.
Who?
Ian, I haven't heard of this guy. Bitchlin? You familiar with this? Bitchlin?
Is that, he's got to be talking about this Clemson kid.
I'm assuming, is this someone they just recruited?
Player. I was calling him Fat Peter Brady a couple of years ago because I don't know, for some reason that hair, he just looks like one of the Brady Bunch dudes to me. No opinion. I mean, I don't care. I mean, we already beat them. South Carolina's the state champs in basketball, and you know what? We're going to go to the NIT with a 12-18 record.
There you
You
go.
believe that?
I do actually. SEC was up this year.
We're going to be, because it's the two top teams that were left out of the NCAA tournament from the SEC get to go to the NIT. Well, all other 14 are going to make it apparently.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And South Carolina and LSU are the only two who didn't. Therefore, they're the top two. Which I don't know how they can, deduce that with the conference championship games aren't done.
Right.
And that hasn't been played yet. So I don't know how they can solidify that in stone. But hey,
you'll take it, right?
yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, look, this team, they were really close on a lot of games this year. There was like probably a good 7 or 8 of them that they were 5-point or less losses. I mean, they weren't horrible, and they played a really tough schedule.
Yeah, they did.
So, I mean, hell, they beat a team that's here in the ACC quarterfinals. So, who can say they can't win a few games against the NIT slate? I think they could.
All right, just a few more. How would you rate your own fan base, Jackpot? Where would you put the Carolina fan base?
Now I'm going to tell you, we've got some dolts too.
So does Tech for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put Carolina's fans in the Steve Spurrier tier though. I mean, we've all suffered together a lot, and that causes us. When I say we've got some dolts, we may be a little bit critical sometimes when I'm after a big loss, which I've experienced quite a lot in my lifetime. I do tend to look for fault. And do tend to be a little bit angry and salty, and may actually take it out on some of my own, which I don't need to. Look at stuff from a more objective point of view there. We've got some opinionated fans too, though, but we've all suffered together. So that said, we've got to be grouped there in the Steve Spurrier tier.
I would agree with that. Last two, Virginia Tech. Are they a team you have any history with? They're another team that's not super far from you.
Yeah, I've actually, I'm going to throw them on up there in the Steve Spurrier tier too. But I've been to Virginia Tech 3 times in the late 1980s for road games. The game once in 1990, 86, 88, and 1990. Of course, that stadium looked nothing like it looks now. And Blacksburg was like, I don't know, a fraction of the size then that it is now. But seemed like a nice place, full of nice people. They love their football team. They're gung ho about it. Really passionate fan base. You gotta love that. And they're still a really passionate fan base, drawing some pretty big crowds and into it. I don't think the level of excitement is quite what it was a few years ago.
They've suffered for quite a while. I mean, since they've left the Big East, what have they really done? I mean, they've been down.
Yeah, they won the ACC a couple of times, didn't they?
Maybe.
Maybe like 2005-ish or something.
Virginia Tech ACC titles. Let's see.
I want to say they won it under. Louisville's beating them now. Hot damn.
2010 was like they won it.
Go on with it now.
07, 08, and 10. Let's see. Well, since they're about to fall, the last one on our list, tell me about the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, another fan base that, obviously, everything's going to be amplified. They're our biggest rival. Any of the hokey shit Dabo does, any of the stupid shit he says. No, he didn't say that. You took that out of context. He said this, and this. Well, so what if he doesn't use the transfer portal? At which there are, and I got to give it to him. There's a lot of Clemson fans out there who are fed up with his shit, and they can see through that shit show, that persona that he puts on. But there are still some that are dyed in the wool taters that just slob on the knob of every single thing that he says and think it's the absolute gospel. I don't know why. I don't want to see this team win I don't want to see them win a fucking checkers game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I know.
They make me sick. I mean, I'm sitting here watching them play basketball right now, and when they get ahead, in the game, not win the game. If they're just winning the game, I'm sitting here seething.
No, that's how I feel
I
about
might
Georgia.
have
I
a
get it.
problem, you know. I mean, seriously, it might be a mental issue.
I don't know if it's a mental issue. I mean, I think we're kind of similar in that I have a certain amount of hate that's just concentrated on about 3 different areas. Georgia's one for me. Clemson's one for
damn
you.
it.
There
Sorry.
it is. No, you're good, man. Are they up?
They're up now. This fucking Lurch guy that they got from some extremely cold area of Russia that's played power forward for them. Just hit a turnaround J there to put them up 23-21. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Come on, Louisville.
Well, we're all
Shove the
Louisville
freaking
fans.
boss.
tonight.
Y'all the damn basketball school here. Louisville, they made a hell of a comeback this year. They've been the shits in basketball lately, which is strange.
Yeah.
Because they're a blue blood in college basketball, I would think.
Louisville.
Yeah, wouldn't they qualify as a college basketball blue blood?
They've been up. Yeah. I mean, I don't really follow college basketball, but I mean, I'm not going to argue with it.
Well,
But-
them and Kentucky both, I mean, would be blue bloods. Duke, UNC. I mean, you would put all those in that category. Probably UCLA. UCLA won like 10 national titles in a row at one point, I think.
Yeah.
They're not as good now, but
Well, look, we'll let you watch the game. I appreciate you doing this with me, Jackpot. Guys, I pinned his channel at the top of the chat. So go subscribe to Carolina Jackpot, most entertaining guy I know of on YouTube, and a hell of a guy. I'm a hell of an engineer. He's a hell of a guy. Roomed right in front of me at the Slob. So we can basically say we're neighbors now. And
yeah, we are. And that was cool. It was good to see a familiar face there. You know, when I ventured out of that room the first time, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, you know, I'm on a ship. I'm floating out in the middle of the ocean.
It's
I'm
overwhelming.
nervous. I'm scared. That's the first time I've ever been on a vessel floating out in the middle of the sea. And there's WreckTalk's calming presence.
Yeah. Yeah. It is overwhelming because that ship was packed with people.
It was packed and just weird. I mean, the first night, I mean, hell, we didn't leave. We left like, 2 hours late?
Yeah, we had to let literally every other ship leave the port.
Ship, even the one with the damn Mickey Mouse on the side of it. Every one of them
Yeah,
had to
Mickey
go
Mouse
for
was
4
out.
hours.
Yeah. So we have a party at the top of the ship. You know, everyone's dancing, like they do a countdown, and then we didn't leave for like another 2 or 3
It was like, and we're stuck.
Yeah. They're like, we're going to let all the people that paid more money for a cruise than you, they get to go first. And we just had to watch them. And then they all got, I think, back before we did. But yeah, that ship was also impossible to navigate. From the time I got on it to the time I got off, I couldn't get to where I wanted to go directly. I had to walk around the ship a few times.
Oh, it was impossible. I felt like when I went down some of those stairwells, I was going to come out and there was going to be a mushroom that popped out of a box and like a swinging chain of fire.
Yeah. Wrong move. Yeah. And then you just
Yeah, but
down.
it really was strange. There was like to one point to get to, I don't know, it was something we were going to on the 3rd floor. You had to go up to like the 5th floor so you could go all the way across because there was like a galley or something right there in the middle of some of those floors that encompassed that. So, I mean, you couldn't walk through that. So that was why that was that way. But you had to go up the 5th floor, go all the way down, go back down this elevator and come back this way on the 3rd floor. It's weird.
Yeah, the only surefire way was like to go to the 9th. That was the freest movement you had was on the 9th floor. I figured out the ship layout. I thought we were retarded. Well, you are, buddy. You are.
The Slob Olympics was fun. I mean, what there was of it, it was an abbreviated Slob Olympics, but it's kind of anticlimactic there. You know, our team
got drugged. You got drugged.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I mean, we got shut out. I mean, now I felt bad though too because I didn't do well in that relay race. I'm slow on my feet. I was sore to begin with anyway, and then I run in clown shoes. Probably not the best move. I did finish my lap though, at least, but and I felt like, yeah, if I had gotten the clown shoes on sooner, and maybe made a lap around there, the Nick kid could have caught us up there at the end. But we lost that spelling bee.
Yeah, that was rough.
Well, that damn Captain Crybaby guy who quit.
He was a bitch and a piece of shit human being.
I'm trying to tell Uncle Lou, I'm like, let me take his place. I don't know if he didn't hear me or if he was just zoned out or what. But whatever word it was that was misspelled right before Tucci spelled whatever word he spelled correctly. Grotesque. Oh yeah, and he was real animated about it too. He was like GROTESQUE.
Yeah, man, he strutted on you. He totally strutted
like a peacock. But whatever word it was that was spelled incorrectly immediately before that, I knew how to spell that word. I'm like, damn it, I could spell that word right. I should have been in there. I should have been in the spelling bee and not in the relay race. I think we might have stood a chance there, but if a bullfrog had wings, it wouldn't bump its rear end. So
Ballard
it is what it is.
Ballard didn't help you. Now my favorite Slob's memory is from Law Tide, which, by the way, we're gonna have Law Tide on the 28th. Pete's gonna come on next week. Do you remember when Law Tide's word was biannual? He spelled bianal. And I remember you saying, "That's bianal, man."
Yeah.
What do you do? The old Gump, man, couldn't get that one was tough. Got two N's in it, I think.
Yes, well, that I don't know that they instruct you on spelling bianal in the Alabama school system. Now I'm gonna feel bad because Lurch is hurt for Clemson.
Yeah, that's what he spelled.
Yeah, he's laid out, man. He ate shit. What happened to him?
Get his legs kicked out.
I'm not quite sure what. I don't know if he was going for a rebound or I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, that was a fun time for sure.
With the obstacle course, I forget. I think it was HBP that yelled out your face was crimson red because we had to spin around a bat on the beach and then run an obstacle course. And
oh yeah, holy shit, that was
there's multiple injuries on that course for people of our stature.
I like Sea Dog's Army Ranger mentality whenever we have these physical challenges on these things. He might not have the most impressive body out there, might not have the most athletic skills, but by God, he's going to give you grit.
He trained. We both trained for that one. We went out and trained.
He's gonna give you grit. I mean, he's like crawling through mud barefoot.
He's committed. He's committed. Well, like I said, Jackpot, I appreciate you so much for coming on the channel. We got Pete coming up next week, Law Tide. We'll probably cut this down a little bit and not have quite so many teams. But go subscribe to Carolina Jackpot. You do a show every Sunday night, right? Pitch.
We do a show on Sunday nights, and we do one on Wednesday nights. And we've got also too college NCAA tournament bracket challenge coming up over there on our channel too. It's $20 to get in. It's through Callaway's, the bar that sponsors our show. I think last year we had like 40 people that entered that thing, and Billy Cole, the Tennessee fan, actually won the thing. So if Billy Cole can win that bracket challenge, surely there's someone else out there who can do it too. But it's a lot of fun. We use an ESPN form. It's not something we make up. So You just get points based off however many picks you actually get right.
It's bona fide, right? That's what I'm hearing. It's bona fide.
Yeah, it is, and you don't have to. I mean, it doesn't matter. All right, Louisville just hit 3, boom. If you pick Duke to win the Natty and Duke gets put out, but they get put out in say the Elite Eight round, making it to the Final Four, then I mean that's not necessarily going to kill you in the contest.
There you go.
It's all about winning individual matchups.
So if a Tennessee man can win, anyone can win it. Every Wednesday and Sunday, go over to Carolina Jackpots. They'll be streaming, and I believe they take calls. You can call in. If you don't like where Jackpot ranked your team, you can tell him to go screw himself right to his face.
Yeah, tell me to go fuck off.
Yeah, you can do it. Also, during the season, you do the Pick'ems contest, right? All throughout the season.
Yeah, we did the Pick'ems contest. We picked 10 games against the spread. We have 10 games, and then we have a Carolina Jackpot shitter game of the week, which usually includes like a MAC team against maybe another MAC team or another lowly team. It's always a really crappy game. Whenever I give it to Rob Sanders, he's like, "Jackpot, I can't believe you picked this game." I'm like, I'm going to pick a shitty game. I mean, what it's
what we do.
It's the shitter game, but we always try to pick the most. We always use the Carolina game. We always use the Clemson game as one of our 10 games, and then the rest of them we try to mix it up between the conferences a little bit, but we're giving you pertinent matchups.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're not going to do, whoever's, we're not going to do Northwestern and Michigan State. I mean, we'll do Michigan and Indiana or whatever. But
yeah. Wallplay says, "Don't respect the MAC, bro. Don't forget NIU beat Notre Dame." I can't believe you being a Georgia fan didn't bring up they beat Georgia Tech too to open the season. I think that was Collins' last full season. But
didn't Georgia Tech lose to Bowling Green too?
Yeah, we did. Thanks for bringing that up.
God dang.
I tell you what, too, Jackpot. After that game,
that's right. Sea Dog made a video about that. I remember he's like, "Y'all, it was bad too, wasn't it?"
It was real bad. We got up 14-0. I don't think we scored again till the fourth quarter. He recorded that video way up in the north end zone. My ex-wife didn't realize the situation. Like I had to.
Yeah, I was laughing at that. It's like we just got blown up by Bowling Green.
Yeah, those people don't deserve to hear this.
Coach done too, wasn't he?
That was key. Yeah, that was the year we fired not one but 2 defensive coordinators. So we demoted Thacker, which is interesting, in the middle of the season, promoted the linebackers coach, and then fired them both after the season, hired Santucci. He left for the NFL, and then we got Blake Gideon from Texas, their defensive backs coach.
All right, Louisville's up 5 going into the locker room.
We're just going to go through every embarrassing loss for Tech. Well, I mean, Georgia lost to South Carolina. First time a top 5 team's ever been beat by an unranked team since, like, they've ranked teams. And guess what? I was there. Muschamp was running all around the field. Jake Fromm doing his thing. But anyway.
That was wild. That was I live streamed. That was before I was like live streaming games like I do now. But I live streamed, I think it was the fourth quarter of that game. And I was just in the live stream just pretty much consisted of me walking around with my phone in my hand, watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And then the final missed field goal there by old what was his name? Hot Stuff Wild Thing.
You talking about Georgia's kicker, Blankenship? Yeah.
Blankenship.
That's when they were telling me that our
more like Yankinship that day.
Yeah, that they were telling me that Harrison Bucker was no good. They were kicking at the same time. I believe Harrison Bucker's got 3 rings now, but who's counting? Anyways, well, I'll let you get out of here, guys. I appreciate you coming in, supporting the show, watching us rank some fan bases. We'll let you go. It's late Saturday night. Y'all have a great night. And if no one's told you today, WreckTalks loves you, unless you're a Georgia fan. Then I don't feel anything for you. Just black.
Yeah. All right, gang. Have a good night.